and see how this goes. Testing, 1, 2, testing, testing. Toasty.
All right.
Oh shit! It actually is like legit happening. This is happening. Toasty. Okay, so I just heard us say toasty, which is just kind of awesome. Copy video URL. Okay, so this is the fun part. Now everybody's gonna see other stuff I'm doing on Discord, live on the stream because I have to. Because I have to. I've got to go to the Like Zoinks Gaming channel. Surprise, guys. Surprise, guys. With as we talk about nerdy stuff and the aftermath. Yeah, make it sound like it's a nuclear fallout. The aftermath of SDCC. No, just...
We survived.
Yeah, right?
We
Control V.
survived.
Control A, Control C, and bam. There's that, and then I post in the Fat Dog thing for there's self-promo. It's really a good thing that I didn't click on any of the not safe for work stuff on anybody's channel, because that could have gone terribly wrong. Okay, so back to full screening. Back to full screening you. Everything is back to full screening you. All right, I'm not having to worry about that, thank God. Okay, there we go. And I'm gonna post this on Facebook as well as Twitter. For
awesome.
I have to post this on the Facebook or the Fairy Tale Podcast Twitter as well as the Facebook. So
Facebook.
I gotta get the word out, man. It's all about getting the word out. Ghosts are one thing, but witch ghosts are another thing. What is a witch ghost, and why would you have one? Which ghost is this?
There's only one ghost, and that is Slimer. And that's the only one you ever need in life.
Excuse you.
I win this argument.
Excuse you in your lying ways.
Because it's Slimer and it's awesome, and you know it is. And
Lies.
I'm live streaming, so yeah.
Well, technically I am, but okay.
Well, yes, he's live streaming us as we're talking.
Yep.
Yes.
What are you live streaming?
We're talking as we're live streaming. We're talking about
Hello. Your spiffy beard is now live on my channel.
Yeah, your spiffy beard is live on his channel. That just happened.
Well,
No, you can't.
Can he watch? Yeah, he can watch.
No, he wants to flip you off. No, not wrong.
I would appreciate I would very much appreciate that not happening. Yes.
Yeah, that's. I thought
This is a whole 5-pound bag of nope right there. Thank you very much.
A whole 5 pound of nope. I concur with that statement.
5-pound bag of nope. Thank you very much.
I need adults. Silly Gilhorn, I am an adult. No, you're not.
you're so special.
I hate my roommate.
No, you don't.
It's a fair point. Stop it! I am not an anime. I am not a sibling to you. Do not pat my head as though I am.
I haven't done that in a while. I should. By the way, Jason, Batman building.
Oh, fuck you.
I should have got Mom and Dad to check out this stream, and as soon as they got on, they were like notifying me that they're on. My immediate response would be Jason Batman building, just because they showed up. I was like, that'd be the only way.
I'm surprised that it has not become a meme yet.
Jason Batman building. I mean, we could get the extended family that you've more or less adopted to check it out. Hey, we've been streaming for 5 minutes and we have 0 people watching. Isn't that awesome? We had one for a moment. Okay. So I did post some stuff. Oh, I think I was the one though. I think I was the one person that was watching.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't
there
know
we
if
go.
that's sad or not. I'm gonna go with that's a little sad.
Look here, sir. Look here, sir. Okay, so I know I made a list, but you're gonna have to tell me what the list is because I have to keep you on full video on this.
Right. So we're starting with the Fantastic Beasts panel that happened.
Not necessarily the panels, because if we talked about the panels, it would take forever, and forever. And that really would take a long time, and I just can't. I can't do the.
We're just not in a galaxy far away.
Well, there's also that. There's really good, but we'll talk about the trailers and kind of what we thought about them and just kind of wrap up the general nerdiness. That's why I didn't add Venom to the list, because they didn't drop anything new. Like, Marvel
really
kind of had no presence at SDCC for a once.
No, and I think they played that really well.
I mean, let's be completely honest. When you drop Infinity War, you could just step away and just say "Nuff said." You don't need to do any more Comic-Con shit. It's like, even though truthfully, I would have loved to see some stuff for Captain Marvel, but I mean, we're going through the emotional wreck already that is Infinity War. But I mean, come on, man. Let us see Sam Jackson playing Nick Fury without the eye patch for just like 3 seconds, man.
And you know, with hair.
With hair. Samuel L. Jackson with hair. That's badass. I want that. I want to see more of that. Oh, man. Guys, feel free, anybody that's watching, and we have one watcher right now, have no idea who they are, but thank you first and foremost for coming in and checking out the stream, and make sure to post in the chat. Let us hear your thoughts and opinions as well. This is not a one-sided conversation between two people. This is incorporating you guys as well. Hopefully the stream does not suck. I wouldn't know. I'm not able to actually view it live at the moment. Is everything good on your end? Do you think you could? I could link you the thing, but then I'd have to kill you. No, I wouldn't have to kill you. I wouldn't have to kill you. I just do it for fun. Okay, there we go.
Tom Cruise will show up out of nowhere, out of your ceiling, and just like kill
Okay, there you go. There you go. I sent it to you so I could just get that out of the way. And that way you can let me know if it's just really the stream is just really being crappy or something. Because if the stream isn't working, I may just end up having to record instead, because I don't want to release a shitty thing.
Right.
So you're kind of like, you're my guy. You're my tech guy right now to let me know if stuff is working or not. Because I know it's probably going to slow down stuff even more if if I'm looking at the actual video for the stream. It's just going to make things worse.
No, it looks like it's working just fine.
Okie dokie. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a pop out of the chat then. And go to Video Manager instead of trying to view the stream live at the moment. Good stuff. Cool beans. Cool beans. Cool. All right, so I've got the chat up, and there we go. All right, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is magical beasts. We got a lot more of the darker side and a little bit more story. But let's go ahead and talk about the big kind of surprise from the end. A cameo by Nicholas Flamel.
I loved that. I
did too, because it was a callback to the first book/movie, The Sorcerer's Stone. So you get and they didn't make like a big deal out of it. He was just like, I'm an alchemist, and then he finally introduces himself. He's like Nicholas Flamel, and I'm like, No fucking way. And I saw a bunch of reaction videos where people didn't
Yeah.
catch that, and I was like, "You're supposed to be a Potter fan." You're like, "I'm a Potter fan." I admittedly am not a big Potter fan. I didn't read all the books. I only read 4 through 7 of the books.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen all the movies more than once, but I'm not like a huge Potter fan. I'm not going to go to Harry Potter World and pay $40 for a stick. You know,
Right.
I understand why other people might, and I'm not going to hate on them for it, but I'm not one of those people that's going to do that. I like Harry Potter, but I'm not going to invest a lot of money into it. Also, I'm in my 30s. My Hogwarts letter ain't coming anymore, ever. Yeah.
Well, the nod to having Nicholas show up is a very, it's an interesting deal because in year 1, it's the main, he's the main, like, mystery.
Mm-hmm.
But the fun little side note to that is that Newt's book that he's basically writing during this journey
Magical Beasts, yeah.
is the book that Harry is using in his first year. So it's kind of a nod to year 1 or to his first year. Which I thought,
and this is supposed to be this is supposed to be like a series of 5 movies is what I'm hearing. So I'm like, wow.
It's really building up to the facts that
it's building up to us finally actually getting to see Dumbledore kick ass against Grindelwald, so we can actually finally see what it is that everybody's talking about.
Well, the one of the biggest things that I loved that they did in this is show Dumbledore teaching as an actual professor, which is something we've never seen really. We've seen like little hints here, little nods there.
I also like that he's doing the defense against the dark arts as well.
Yes.
That makes sense. Also, it's nice to see a teacher doing defense against the dark arts before Voldemort put the curse on it.
Right? Oh man. Like,
so now it's not a rotating class of assholes.
It's not a rotating job that everybody just only survives. But no, one of the things that was interesting is it's more of a nod to to year 3 when you see Mooney.
Yeah.
And how he would teach, because that's kind of how he approaches the subject. But it's also
with the boggart,
it also shows you that Dumbledore, even though a lot
of
Dumbledore respect, admire, and some do fear Dumbledore, he's not one of those people who wants to take on his best friend, because technically Grindelwald is his best friend.
Yeah.
That's his best friend. And he's like, I can't stand against him. He's my best friend. Well, in the end, you're going to beat him.
He's going to have to, and of course the reason is because his sister. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the big reason why.
Right. Well, it really boils down to the Deathly Hallows, which we already see one in this trailer. We already see the wand.
Right.
I hope they actually do what I've been praying and begging for them to do, is to actually go into detail about the invisibility cloak, because it has never been really explored.
The cloak of invisibility?
Yeah. How the fuck did Harry's father get that fucking cloak? I want to know how. Seriously. Like, oh, it's just part of the family's heirlooms. How the fuck did they get that thing?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a while before even Harry's parents are even around.
That's true, but we may see more of the Potter family than just James and such. We may actually go back further.
To Harry's grandparents at the very least. Grandparents or great-grandparents.
Sure. We also got a nod from the Mirror of Erised because you actually see Dumbledore looking into the Mirror of Erised to see what he truly desires, and you see uh, Grindelwald's character in the background with him, and it is a lot of nods to year one in this one. So we'll see some more. We definitely got to see the lighter, the deluminator, which I love that thing. That's probably the most coolest item I've ever seen. But there's definitely some stuff in there, and the romance is supposed to build in this because the ore from America that we saw in Fantastic Beasts,
yeah,
is going to be Newt's wife in the end. According to books, they are going to get married. They are the ones who basically end up together. Spoiler, sorry, but that was kind of gimme. So they are meant to be together. I don't know if we're gonna learn any more about Newt's time with his supposable friend and how he got kicked out in this or not, but I think it's kind of hinted almost, but we should be seeing more of that.
Gotcha. Which trailer did you think was better, this trailer or the previous trailer that they had released for?
I think this one was better because we got to see more of Newt's character slowly delving into his background of what he fears, what kind of drives him, as it were.
See,
not to mention the fact
I prefer the other because I'm more of a staunch believer of less is more, and I thought we got enough. I thought we got enough last time to make me want, and I'm like, please don't show me any more than I need to see.
Right.
And I mean, we still kind of got that in this trailer. We got a little bit more, but you know, we got a little bit more of a tasting, but we didn't. I'm glad that they didn't spoil. I'm glad that from the looks of it, they haven't spoiled anything. You know, they didn't go Terminator Genesis on us and ruin the plot. One of big focal plot points.
Ruin the entire plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they gave you just enough tasting to kind of whet your appetite.
My appetite was already pretty whetted before, just because, you know, I actually really enjoyed the first movie.
I did too. I mean, it's one of my favorites, to be honest. And this coming from a person who's read all 7 novels twice in his life. But
I wasn't the biggest fan of like the Harry Potter stuff, and it was nice to get into the Wizarding world in which I didn't have to worry about the chosen one. No Voldemort, no Harry Potter, none of that.
Right. This was before that because it's a lot like Lord of the Rings. Okay, Sauron was great, but he wasn't the first Dark Lord. Come on. So it goes back to that kind of mythos, and J.K. I think has even admitted like she pulled from certain different types of things. Grindelwald was the first Dark Lord, and we finally get to see how he ran through it. And the one thing I do love about Fantastic Beasts is it spans the Wizarding world a lot. We're not just stuck at Hogwarts. We're looking into governments. We're looking into other schools. We're looking into, I think, gypsy aspects as well, because they're showing that. So it's definitely something that's interesting.
Alrighty. Moving on. Next topic up for debate or discussion.
Aquaman.
Okay. All right. First off, I gotta say, extremely impressed by the visuals. The visuals are on point.
I was so...
When we got to Atlantis, I was just like, holy shit, you know? And it didn't seem... Like, Aquaman was one of the few characters I really enjoyed from the Justice League movie. Like, I didn't hate the Justice League movie. There's a lot of people that hated it. I thought it was just kind of meh. I honestly thought it was kind of meh. Especially...
I have problems
Especially since it was coming off of the amazingness that was Wonder Woman, and we were like, oh, finally DC's got their shit together, and then we got just kind of a meh Justice League.
Well, for me, for Justice League, I had my own issue. For one, I didn't go into it very happy because I knew Zack Snyder was going through some stuff with the death of his wife and everything, and I shouldn't.
It was
have,
his daughter.
like, his daughter, right? And I shouldn't have taken that into the movie, but I did, and it's because there were two directors, and I grant that it's two different visions, but at the same time they're trying to meld it. That and oh god, the CGI mustache thing, just that irked me. That was the one. Those are the two things that irked me the most. Was the CGI mustache off? Was just.
But at the same time, it made a really good joke in fucking, Deadpool trailers.
What do you mean the visual effects aren't done? It's not like we're trying to replace a mustache.
Right. I mean, I honestly loved the fact that even Cavill himself made it into a joke to where he actually shaved his off for the Shazam trailer drop, and I'm like, you know what, Cavill, I'm gonna let you have that one.
What did he do?
He shaved his mustache off just before the Shazam first trailers really dropped, or the first looks at Shazam dropped. He was shaving his mustache off because he had just finished off Mission Impossible.
He's already started, and we'll get to that in a minute, but he's already started his Superman training back up. His body training for Superman.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But this trailer for Aquaman, I was thoroughly impressed because, for one, they are going back to the original storyline, and I hate that a lot of people give Aquaman some serious crap, but first and foremost, Aquaman is the bridging gap between two different worlds.
Like, the people that only know the Aquaman joke of, meanwhile at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman is making sandwiches. While that's really funny, pretending that Aquaman is useless, please go check out the DC Animated Universe's Aquaman movie. That will tell you that Aquaman is a beast. Not to mention, it was really effing cool. All right, 2 DC trailers, and we get bullies in each of them. It's like, right. Really? Yeah. But that scene where Arthur's getting bullied, and then first off, there's no great white shark in captivity. That's just not possible. So that's the biggest fucking myth that's going to be happening right there. And if there was a great white shark, he wouldn't be in that kind of a tank to begin with. They'd have him in some thicker shit. It's visually stunning, not possible in nature. Just saying. I was obsessed with sharks for a long time because I wanted to be an oceanographer, and that shit is not happening. I'm just pointing that out to you guys. I'm sorry I keep looking over here, but that's the screen that my brother is on, so I'm trying to make direct eye contact, but I should be talking to the camera, but he's seeing me through this camera specifically, so I'm talking directly to him. But that scene with all the sea life kind of gathered around, that was fucking amazing.
I loved that. It kind of reminded me of similar shots where you see the just all clicking. But I love the fact that they're showing Aquaman having fun with this, because that's one of the loving things that I love about Jason Momoa as a character. He really does have fun with this character.
My man.
Yes, my man. It just jumps out of a plane and says, "Whoa!" And I'm like, really?
He's like, redheads, you know? I was just like, I fucking love that fucking redheads joke. And I don't know how much. Not like I am a little worried though, because it looks like we're getting a lot of I'm wondering how many storylines of Aquaman they're trying to go through, because like we are getting Black Manta at the same time. Like now I remember the animated movie, and yes, Black Manta was in there, but I'm wondering how far, where, because we get this giant war, And there were some really, like I said, some really stunning visuals. We get the part where he jumps back into the sea with the light and everything, and you just see like all those trenchers all around just following. It's just like a sea of these black trenchers over there. And then we get like this giant underwater battle. And I'm just like, okay, how much of this is all one storyline? Because it kind of feels like multiple storylines being told in one movie. And I'm very scared about that because that very rarely ever works. It's hurt more movies. It's hurt more movies than I could count. And these movies should have been great movies. But because you were trying to tell multiple storylines or have multiple villains in your movie, it can really hurt. Case in point, Amazing Spider-Man 2. If you'd just focused on Electro, or focused on Harry Osborn, one of the two, but you couldn't have two at once. Like having the Rhino in there for the little cameo thing was absolutely fine. If you'd have used Electro that way as kind of like the little cameo stuff, that would have been cool too, and that would have set up Sinister Six, which we'll get to that stuff in a minute because Marvel dropped some Spider-Man stuff,
but it's very little stuff.
It's very little stuff, and it's not like major information and trailer stuff. They dropped the name of the next Spider-Man, which is Far From Home, and it's taking place after, obviously, Infinity War.
Yeah,
and they did admit that some of the deaths that took place in Infinity War are going to be, some of those are permanent.
Yeah,
some
of these will be permanent, but that's for the Marvel portion.
Mm-hmm.
As far as DC, as far as Aquaman is concerned,
I liked the trailer. I thought it was really good.
I loved the trailer. I thought it was great. I thought the visual aspects were great. I love the fact that I think what they're doing is they're doing the storyline where his brother is basically trying to take over, but is using Black Manta as a cohort, and they're trying to.
Whereas Black Manta is actually using him, so it's kind of
actually using him. But I can't tell who they got to play Black Manta. I don't know who it is off the top of my head.
I don't know the actor's name. I don't know the actor's name at all. I think it was I'm sorry, I don't even know if they're African American. I'm just like the black guy. So, because I don't know his nationality. He could be Brit for all I know, you know?
Right.
So, at this point, I'm just saying that the black actor, I think that was Manta.
Yeah, that was Manta. But I'm hoping that they do the kind of Young Justice aspect of that, because there could be that tie-in, because his son does become the next Aquaman, or Aqualad rather.
Oh yeah, so Black Manta's son does become Aqualad. Yeah. Alrighty.
That would be interesting to see.
I think our next one on is Shazam.
Yes. Oh my God, did I love this trailer?
Shazam. Okay, they weren't lying. They weren't lying when they said it was. Zachary Levi definitely said it was going to feel a lot like Tom Hanks's Big. And it really did. It very much felt like that. And I love Big. So that was great. I love the tonal shift that we get with Shazam between Aquaman and Shazam. It's less serious and just more fun. Like this feels like a comic book popcorn movie. Like I could go and just enjoy myself. It also helps a lot that a lot of people out there, myself included, are not that overly familiar with Shazam. Nor are we familiar with Captain or Mr. Marvel until, the name change and everything. Right. But a lot of us are not as familiar with Shazam. Now, from what I understand, he does have the power of the gods, and that's plural, because he has Solomon's wisdom, he has the strength of Hercules, he has a bunch of different things. So, yeah, it's kind of all blended together. And I love how they did the trailer, because it definitely seemed like a lot of fun. And you could see in the way that Zachary Levi is doing it that it's basically a 13-year-old in a grown man's body. And to clarify for some people who've only seen the trailer, that trailer isn't with the full visual effects. Like, they fixed a lot of the stuff that's happening. Like, they actually thinned him down in post so that he doesn't look so unrealistically bulky. They thinned him down and removed some of the padding from him, and they thinned out the waist a little bit. Those boots that you saw in the trailer have actually been turned into proper sandals, because he's supposed to be wearing sandals and stuff like that. But Shazam, just to explain, guys, Shazam is one of those characters that's actually supposed to be larger than life. So if he looks like he's overly muscly, that's getting the character right for the comics.
By comic book standards, Shazam is actually like more beefy, more scruff than almost Superman and Batman combined. That is his character arc. That is what he's supposed to be.
And Zachary Levi did get pretty fucking buff to put that suit on, and they still had to put padding on. He got like Ben Affleck buff. He got Ben Affleck buff.
I really am enjoying that aspect of that. As far as the trailer goes, I love they didn't go with Black Adam in this. Thank God.
Well, Black Adam's supposed to have his own solo movie first.
Exactly. And they are not crossing the streams, as it were, just yet, which I thank God they're not doing yet.
I think they're waiting to see how well Shazam does, and if it does well, they'll probably Shazam 2 will be him and Black Adam having a confrontation, which I think is fine. That's how DC should have done it. Let everybody have their own little solo movies first, and then you bring everybody together. Like, there's a reason Marvel did it that way, and I understand not wanting to use the same formula that Marvel did, but hey, when it works, fucking let it work.
Right.
Like, if you wanna do, like, if we'd have gotten a solo Batfleck movie first, I think that would have been great. And then we like teased. We had like a teaser of like just getting. I think that if you wanted to do like a stinger at the end of the movie or the tease, the best thing would just be to have the scene from BVS where you get Lex Luthor at the party introducing Bruce Wayne to Clark Kent. No context outside of that, just that scene alone would have been cool. All we need to know is that, Bruce calls him Lex, and that he introduces Clark Kent to Bruce Wayne, and they do the whole handshake, and it's like, oh, you have a very strong grip. I would not pick a fight with this guy. And it's just, that's how we leave it. And I'm like, that would just be awesome, because that's how you tease Batman v Superman, just with that alone. Yeah. That would have been fine. And that's after we've already had Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, all of the people that show up in Justice League. We could have teased that earlier. And then if you want to flesh out the Justice League more after the first one, to be like, okay, now we're adding Shazam, we're going to add Green Lantern, because you really do need the Lantern Corps.
You really do, because as much as Justice League didn't do, it did do some things right. For example, they did cover the Green Lantern Corps actually helping during the first initial fight,
which was very, very important.
It also showed that Darkseid was technically the overlord of Steppenwolf, and Steppenwolf was trying to show his world to Darkseid by conquering this world. And I mean, Darkseid should be your big bad guy. He should. I think that's a good idea. But
if they can get, I think if the DCEU can get themselves back on track, and I think Shazam is definitely a step in the right direction for that. I am still interested in seeing Aquaman, just because visually it looks stunning. Like, there were moments where I got, hey, Daryl Green. The only thing of Shazam I know is Injustice, where Otherworld Superman burning a hole through his head. Oh, damn. Oh, okay, the Injustice series is ridiculous. Shazam, one of the cool things about Shazam is, in fact, just like you, Daryl, There's a lot of people out there that do not know much about him, and that makes Shazam such an interesting character to have his own movie. But if you've seen any Young Justice or Justice League Unlimited, Shazam is in there. If you've watched any of the DC animated universes going on right now, Shazam is in that, and it's still pretty cool. And I know my first introduction to Shazam was Justice League War, and that version of Shazam is very much what I felt I got, or in the very spirit of what I got from this trailer.
For me, my introduction to him was Superman All-Stars, where...
Cyborg, that was the other one. Cyborg should have gotten his own movie.
I liked how they set up Cyborg, but I really think there is too much of a nod to think Joe Morton is just trying to create Skynet through his son. I'm sorry. I mean, every time I see Joe Morton, love that man. He's a great actor, but every time he messes with technology, I'm like, this is why we can't have nice things, Joe. You're trying to make Skynet with everything.
No. In Eureka, he didn't try and make Skynet.
No, he just created time travel so Skynet could do it. I rest my case.
Bless you. Gazoon Tommy.
Yeah.
But in All-Stars, we see the showdown between Shazam versus Superman. And it kind of shows off the fact that Billy Batson doesn't know how to use his abilities and what's happening in the film. He has no idea how to do any of it. Like,
and just to clarify for you, Daryl, because you did say that you don't know him very well. When he does eventually learn to control his powers and stuff, when he gets to that point, you got to realize that all his powers are based on magic, which is a thing that Superman is very weak against. So to be perfectly fair, Shazam has more than enough power to take on the Blue Boy Scout easily.
The difference being that I love the fact that they actually give him a sidekick, his adoptive brother here.
Yeah.
But what they've been teasing on the forums and everything is that the Shazam
family. Yes, the Shazam family. So basically, everyone in that foster family is going to end up with the powers of Shazam at some point.
Exactly.
All together, or
not just Shazam. There is other beings who have similar aspects. Shazam is just one of them. There are others.
So that sounds like it'd be really cool, and that so long as they're done in the same tone that this one looks like it's going to be, I have no problem with that. So long as we can get light comedy, good fun, having a good time, popcorn movie, I'm okay with that.
I think
like, I don't mind DC being, I don't remember DC being, I don't mind if DC has like its dark and serious tones for certain characters. That absolutely works with Batman. It does not work with Superman. It doesn't.
It needs to be lighthearted and more.
And you can tell even in Justice League that they were moving further away from that. They weren't trying to have such a dark and brooding Superman, because it doesn't work for Supes. He's a fucking Boy Scout. You know?
He is. He's the American way.
Well, he's the embodiment of the American dream, which is something we need more of now that we're, you know, just well, no, I was gonna say now that we're the biggest Russian state, but it's just a funny, it's just a silly joke. Don't send your hate in the comments, but send me your hate. Let the hate flow through me. The dark side will empower me. Yes. We'll get to Star Wars stuff in a bit. But I think we've talked a lot about Shazam because we're at 7:30. I think we should, or almost 7:30. We should probably move to the next one. But I am going to read off this last comment from Daryl, who says, Unlimited, I remember. Nothing of the DCU because my friend has a hate boner for Snyder and DCU, has to bring up how edgy they... Snyder
does a lot of things dark in tone.
Yeah.
That's just how he does things.
I think that, all right, here's the comparison I'm willing to make with Shazam. Shazam feels like it is the Thor Ragnarok of the DC universe right now.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't think that the DC EU at the moment is going to be anywhere near close to getting an Infinity War caliber film, but if they can pull off a Thor Ragnarok level film and pull off a couple of Thor Ragnarok level films, then they can start rebuilding because they'll have earned everybody's trust. At least they managed to save themselves from complete obscurity with the Wonder Woman movie. That really saved DC, and unfortunately Justice League wasn't quite up to snuff, and then so we got really high, and then we went back to where we were, and Aquaman may turn into Valerian as far as looking good but not getting a bunch of critical acclaim or getting a lot of audience approval, but it definitely is visually, I would say, just as stunning as Valerian.
Yeah, I think Shazam may tie the knot on that. And
Yeah.
I think how they should end it is at the very end do a kind of credit scene to see his adopted brother getting the powers.
Ah, yeah, that'd be cool.
Because
Well,
would be a
here's
nice
the
little
other
nod.
thing. All right, here's my last thing, my absolute last thing on Shazam. One of the points that was being made is that it's a little early to have begun filming for Superman just yet, and they're still on post work on Shazam. So the thing is that again, this is just rumor and conjecture at this point, guys. But the rumor running through the rumor mill right now is that the reason that Cavill has been getting into shape as much as he has for Superman is because, pardon me, he may end up being a post-credit scene. Superman meeting, no, not versus, just meeting Shazam. You
I
know,
can see that.
kind
It's
of doing the introduction and being like, I've got my eye on you, I will be watching. Kind of like less verses and more just kind of like Big Brother.
right.
Which would absolutely be a Soups thing to do. He wouldn't be like, I have to stop you. He's like, I'm gonna keep an eye on you.
Right.
You know? I think adding Shazam, just adding Shazam in general to a Justice League movie would hype it up so much more, just because Shazam, you think it was kind of funny to have freaking Aquaman hitting on Wonder Woman. Wait till Billy Batson Shazam is doing it. 13-year-old in the adult body, like, hey. I mean, he was already doing it outside the convenience store. Hey, I'm a superhero. We were like, he's trying to pick up girls. Hell yeah, I'd do that. When I was 13, fucking, that is a young teen fantasy right there. How many times did we not picture or dream of being that superhero? So it kind of, that's the other thing about Shazam, is it latches onto that inner childhood memories of a lot of adults. Yep. All right. What's the next item on the list?
Next is Legends of Tomorrow.
Okay, I don't have a lot to say about this because I have not seen Legends of Tomorrow at all. I've only seen, okay, as far as like, I've seen like clips from Supergirl because I'm really not that interested in the show. Sorry, I'm just not. I'm only on, I'm like partway through season, no, wait. Okay, season 2 was Zoom, right?
Season 2 is Zoom for Flash.
Yeah, okay, I'm partway through season 3 of Flash. And I've made it through season 4 of Arrow, and I just kind of stopped. Like, I got distracted and fell off the wagon.
Just didn't work for them. But as far as Legends of Tomorrow, this coming season...
Hey guys, here's good news. I am going to be doing a lot of the freaking Netflix series. Like I said, this week I'm going to start recording my reactions for episode or for all the episodes of season 6 of Voltron, so that's all blind reactions. So I may do the same thing, picking up where I left off on in the Arrowverse for certain shows. Maybe I'll do that. Who knows?
Yeah. This coming season about Legends, it teases
And
John Constantine joining.
oh, nice, because I've seen clips with Constantine in it. Yeah. He's been in Arrow. He's been in Arrow.
He's been in Arrow. He's been in Legends now, and they're trying to slowly but surely make him a regular, which I am glad that they finally did. Back in the way day when NBC had the property rights to it, they were trying to make it into a series, and it got 1 season. Even Stephen Amell was like, "Dude, I love this guy. Let me go on to a show. I'll do a cameo. Don't throw away this property. It's a really good property. Keep it." And it fell through the cracks, and it didn't happen. But Stephen Amell kept at it and got him onto Arrow, and that's what kept the character going and flowing. And it just worked well to have him on Legends of Tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. This season, we're going to look more into the mythos of magic for Legends, which is, it can be a bit, I don't know, dicey, because magic is one of those things where you want to stick to what works. And I think it could work if they do it right, but at the same time, it could blow up in their faces, kind of like it did for Arrow. So it's one of those things that you can wait and see, and I really works. But with the addition of John in it, it could work a whole lot more well in their favor, especially with the chemistry between him and Sarah Lance, which they've kind of flirted here and there. And with Sarah being bi, it's just like, I'm gonna tap that and be done. But it could become into an actual thing because he's actually saved her soul. So I know it was one.
Yeah, I don't have anything to contribute to this. I don't know anything about Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm a really bad DC TV series guy. Like,
I mean, we can move on to Flash if you want, because Flash is really.
I haven't seen the trailer for season 5 of Flash. I don't know anything about. No wait, I do, because their daughter shows up apparently.
Yeah.
Or is it really her daughter? Is it really their daughter? She's got the Flash ring, so suit in the ring. Yeah. That's a thing now.
So Nora Allen shows up, and she's made a big mistake because she's pulled a Barry moment where she's gone back in time and fucked shit up.
Of course she has, because she's an Allen.
Yeah, she pulled a Barry.
All I can think about is Allen. Wait, I think his name was Steve. Steve. Damn it. Of course she did. XS. Of course, that is exactly what Barry would name his kid. XS.
But Nora Allen went back in time and has screwed up, which is the basis for the first episode, which we kind of get a tease on.
Okay.
It does show the older suit, which means she's gone back in time stream. But the villain in this is somewhat obscured. I don't know who they got in for this one, but according to what I've read, he's also a time traveler. Has followed her back, because time travel, it has consequences.
Yeah, it does.
We've seen Barry have consequences with traveling back in time. Flashpoint for one.
I was gonna say Flashpoint. Yeah.
Then there was the Wraith, as it were, which when you mess with time, even the
when you mess with time messes with you.
Right? Even the Speed Force itself is like, you don't get to have that kind of power. I think you just can get away. It even affected Zoom the first time and made him in Flash, which I really, God, hope they bring back. Damn, I love the Black Flash, because eventually Barry is supposed to become that. One of these days, he becomes the Black Flash.
Okay, really quick, just to let Daryl have his moment. He said, with all the DC series, My friend who lives on an island didn't bother me to get into a DC Netflix series. I watched some, but I think I finished one Netflix series, 13 Reasons Why. That is actually, you didn't finish that series because there's a second season out now. And,
Yes.
and secondly, 13 Reasons Why isn't a DC thing. But if there's a good DC series, let me know. Don't know much about Legends of Tomorrow. There is a good DC series. The animated shit is actually up on Netflix. Start with Justice League War. The animated stuff are just movies, but they're movies that tie into each other.
Yes.
And I'll pull up all that stuff later, and I'll give you a list. But
a lot of their movies connect. The downside is that the actors do change a little bit, but it's nothing.
But it's for the better because Nathan Fillion plays the fucking Green Lantern.
I love the fact that they finally brought him back, and Nathan is one of the people I have been pushing and driving to have play into the series. And I would love if they actually brought him on into the Arrowverse as Hal Jordan, because they have teased Hal Jordan since season fucking 3 of Arrow. And I'm like, come on, just give
and
us
then we
Hal
finally
Jordan.
got a Bruce Wayne tease.
Yes.
In season what, 7?
No.
6?
It was season 6 of Arrow, who he actually mentions
Bruce Wayne. Has Bruce Wayne been in Star City lately? I was like,
Has
no.
Bruce Wayne left Gotham lately? No.
No.
But they actually brought Gotham in, and they keep teasing it. But one of the things that I have been really hard wish they would is have Jensen Ackles, after he finishes Supernatural, just to finally take on the role that we all know he was meant for. He's Batman. I mean, he's even said it. He has even said it.
I'm Batman.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Now go be Batman.
Because I honestly think he could play Bruce Wayne and Batman all together, and he could be part of the Arrow universe just as well. But that's another nice little tease for Flash here. They are bringing Batwoman into the Flash universe.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
The crossover event that is happening, I think around December, they are finally bringing Batwoman into the franchise, and that I believe is Cassandra Cain.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I believe she's going to be playing the character instead of anyone else.
I don't know. I don't know how much of the DC animated. Sorry to interrupt. I don't know how much of the DC animated universe is up on Netflix, but I know that Justice League War, Son of Batman are. But it goes like this: Justice League War and Son of Batman are the first two. The third one is Justice League Throne of Atlantis, and it might give you a good idea about the course that the Aquaman movie might take, but you don't. But I don't think they're going to be exact. But there's some themes that I noticed that are parallel between the two. Then you get Batman versus Robin for number 4. Then you get Batman Bad Blood, Justice League versus Teen Titans, Justice League Dark, Teen Titans The Judas Contract, which I liked it. It was good, but my favorite part was probably the end, because you had Beast Boy talking to freaking Kevin
to Kevin Smith,
and they animated Kevin Smith. It was really cool. And then we got Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, and lastly the first half of Death of Superman, which was done really well.
I loved that one. I really did. I have not seen the other one, but going back to Justice League Dark, the guy who actually voiced Constantine is the same actor who plays him in the DC
animated.
No.
In the live action, the Arrowverse?
Yeah, in the Arrowverse.
He sounds completely different.
It's because he's in a mic studio. That's the reason why. And
no, I mean, his accent between the two different versions are completely different.
Yeah. But the fun little tidbits about animated universe that we got are there are 4 hints to who the 4 Supermen will be, which is the next saga is the Reign of Superman. We got Man of Steel,
Mm-hmm.
who was kind of mentioned at Star Labs. We got Hank Henshaw, who will become Cyborg Superman.
Yep.
We even saw Lex Luthor looking at the clone version of Superboy.
Oh, Superboy, yes.
And then the most important, we got the nod from the Eradicator, who would be the embodiment of Superman.
Yeah.
In the capsule where he was brought to Earth. The capsule itself is meant to protect Superman. That is his job, is to protect the last son of Krypton. Even if
The
he
last
dies, it
Kryptonian,
doesn't
even
matter.
if he dies, or he's in a
Even
quote
if he
unquote
dies.
healing coma.
Even if he dies, that pod is required to bring him back. To
But
life
let's go
because-
back to Flash. 'Cause I think that's what we were talking about.
The season's going to be interesting because it's going to deal not Barry's mess ups, but rather his daughter.
Gotcha.
A fun little tidbit about this is that they are going to bring the AI that Barry eventually creates.
Oh.
Because you see more in the Futures Lab, and a funny little side note: the voice of the AI is actually Deadpool's girlfriend. I can never remember her name, but it's Marina.
Morena Baccarin.
Yes.
Who funny enough is also on Gotham.
Yeah, who funny enough is also in Gotham. But they're going to be doing more in the Futures Lab, and I think they're probably going to touch on the disappearance of Barry, because eventually Barry is going to leave his daughter. He is going to disappear, and I think that's what's going to happen, because there is a 10-year gap where we have
That's
Crisis.
supposed to set all of this in motion.
Yes.
Okay.
But when Barry disappears, we're going to learn more about Nora Allen and what happened then.
So we're looking at Crisis on Infinite Earths, you think we're moving towards?
It's either Crisis on Infinite Earths or at least Infinite Crisis. It's one of the 2 sagas, because
So it looks like the DC TV universe or the Arrowverse is pulling more from the old school comics,
yes.
whereas the cinematic universe is pulling from New 52.
Yes. The cinematic universe is pulling from, but
it definitely sounds like the Arrowverse is pulling from pre-Crisis.
Yes. But they also do nods to 52. 52 breaches, and then of course there was the multi. With the exception of now the 53rd universe, which is the Nazi universe. We're going to be getting into a lot more of that here soon.
The Nazi verse, isn't that the Owlman verse?
That's Starman's universe, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. But there is a lot more to be said for multiverse getting pulled into this instead of just like getting nods here and there, which I think maybe at the crossover event this go around, but
okay, what's up next?
Next up is Supergirl. I have yet to see the trailer for this, but
it's a 5.5 minute trailer, if I'm remembering.
Yes.
Yeah, or no, it was a long trailer. No, you saw some stuff for it because you were talking about like the suit. It okay. There was a voiceover going on the entire time that sounded very Luthor like. So if they're introducing Lex Luthor into Supergirl, that's going to be interesting because they're talking about, these aliens come here, they bring their wars, they take our jobs. Yeah. It's time for humanity to kick them out. And I'm like, that's a Lex thing right there. That's a Lex speech. I know a Lex speech when I hear one, and
that's a Lex speech. And I think because the last few seasons we've had
I have seen almost nothing of Supergirl, so I have no dog in this fight.
Lex's sister
Take it away.
Basically running the company as Lex Luthor has been in prison this entire time. But most people don't know is that Lex Luthor he does break out and eventually becomes president, for God's sakes. But this is how he's building his platform. He is slowly but surely getting to that point.
I will be right back. Keep it going.
Okie dokie. So for Supergirl, it's been an interesting point to see how that's progressed from point A to point B. Not to mention the fact that we just had the point where we dealt with future coming into the past with time travel for Supergirl, which was a nice little. Legends of Tomorrow's kind of covered that to death. So has Flash. Arrow, not so much, which I thank God they only did flashbacks, which is a good thing. But Supergirl kind of touched up on this. So the next season will see a definite shift from that. I also think they'll probably bring Superman back into the fray of this because he's gotten a little. But it's really going to probably culminate, I want to say, for the crossover event, which should be really interesting to see. After that, I think we have Arrow. So Arrow, this time around, we see Oliver kind of in prison and just kind of going through the motion of everything because finally admitted he is the Green Arrow. And having that said, he's basically serving his time in prison as coming out as the vigilante known as the Green Arrow. But in Starling City, they are trying to make changes to against vigilantism and basically trying to put a stop to it. But there is someone going around somewhat dressed as Oliver's old kind of persona and killing off all the bad guys rather than just taking a turn.
So are we back to Arrow now rather than Supergirl?
Yeah, I skipped over Godzilla and went straight to Arrow. I figured you don't really know much of that either.
I don't know much about that either. Yeah, I'm nowhere near this.
But so it'll be interesting to see how Oliver and how he kind of overcomes being Shawshanked, for example.
All right.
Because honestly, he can't stay in prison the entire series. And they tried to bury Allen last season, so God only knows how that's going to end up. Next, I think we have the Godzilla trailer.
Yep. Godzilla, King of Monsters. And yes. I don't even know what the fuck I'm watching at that point. The world is ending and they summon all the kaiju.
Right? It's like, oh, well, the world is ending. Let's bring all the monsters back because they can save us.
I'm like, how the fuck are they gonna save us? Why would Godzilla give one shit about the cancer that is humanity? I mean, you're unleashing the apex predators because it's gonna help humanity and help the world.
Right.
I don't believe you.
From what I've seen of the trailer, we got.
I will say Mothra looked awesome.
Mothra did look awesome. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a good representation.
And Godzilla looked fine. Godzilla looked just fine.
Godzilla's character did look fine. I especially the his main attack as the fins slowly kind of building up to it. Which is
the
nice,
atomic breath.
Visual effect. Yes. Yeah. I also think that they the way they're setting it up is there are two human protagonists. Basically, they're married, for crying out loud, and 11 is about that. But
Millie Bobby Brown, man.
They're on two separate kind of wavelengths. The wife thinks we should bring all the monsters to life, whereas the husband from Early Edition basically is like, no, this is not how you save humanity. I'm gonna sit Godzilla on you and fucking end this shit. No. So it's like when you're letting all the monsters loose, fine, find the bigger one and kick. I don't know if that's more of a nod to the 1970s cartoon where they had they basically could call gods out of the ocean to basically take on the monsters that. But it's one of those aspects.
Is it the one that had the baby Godzilla?
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
Godzilla and baby Godzilla or whatever. I don't remember what its name was.
But it looks as though they're either taking a page from cartoon aspects or something. But it's a nice little nod, I think.
All right. All right. What's next up on the list? Because I didn't have much to say about this. I like seeing Millie Bobby Brown, but if it's not Stranger Things season 3, I'm not really all that interested.
Right. There is Black Lightning, or we could continue into It. You want to go that far?
Oh no, I don't want to talk about.
you
I didn't
have
see
it,
it. I didn't see it at all, so I don't care.
Dude, you should see it.
I don't do horror. I'm not a fan of horror.
It's not really horror. I didn't really think of it as scary. I mean, it's got jumps in there, but
I'm also not a big fan of clowns.
yeah, I got you that one. That one kind of fucked with me.
Okay.
That and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I will never watch. Ever.
Is that the one where they've got people in pods and they like stick straws in there and basically
Yes.
drink them?
No,
Yeah.
No, you're not going there.
Not fair. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. Also, isn't the clown in it also an alien?
No, he is a being from another dimension. Where
Oh, Pennywise is from another dimension, not specifically. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Pennywise is from another. Nemesis is apparently a giant turtle that the world sits.
Okie dokie. All right, so moving from that, yeah, what's the next thing up? I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about I have nothing to say on the conversation of it. And wait, we had one more DC thing, Black Lightning.
Yes.
He didn't see it. The trailer looked good. I know nothing about the series. I just know it looked good.
That's about it. That's all we got. So I think we're Doctor Who now.
Hey, that one I'm all about. The trailer, I saw the trailer and I'm still like, I'm on the fence. I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure what to think of this one.
Yes.
Like I'm glad it's differentiating itself from everything, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But don't like I've got to point out the Matt Smith line when he went, "You're different people. You're always different people throughout your lives, and you got to keep moving, and that's important. That's okay, so long as you don't forget all the people that you used to be." So you know everything that happened in Eccleston and Tennant and Smith and fucking Capaldi's timelines should still have consequences and repercussions on this current Doctor. The fact that Gallifrey, Godzuki, thank you for that, Daryl Green. I appreciate that. But like the fact that Gallifrey is back should come back to bite the Doctor in the ass.
Right. I think.
Don't ignore a lot of the story that was there, because I mean it's sure as shit not the first time. There's been plenty of times for as much shit as they gave him that Moffat has written truly great story. And I find it hilarious that people shit all over Moffat and his writing style for Doctor Who, and yet they fucking revere him like a god for Sherlock.
Right.
And I'm like, you know he does both, right?
Right.
Whatever.
I think that Jodie Whittaker could pull this off. I really am I'm holding off until I see the first episode, because I mean I was on the fence. I was on the fence for Matt Smith.
I was on the fence for David Tennant.
I was on the fence for that until I saw 11th Hour. Well, fuck.
11th Hour got me from the very first episode. It took a few episodes for me to get used to Capaldi, and honestly, I didn't like his first run for the first season. But
I don't think he really came into his own
until halfway through season 2. I like where he really started coming into his own as the grumpy old man. I felt was when we did the Christmas episode with Nick Frost as freaking Father Christmas, and they especially when you get the line, you've got a horror movie called Alien. That's very offensive. No wonder you people keep getting invaded. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, there it is, right there.
Right.
And then, of course, we had Dr. Mysterio and, the River Song Christmas special. Like, we've had a lot of good stuff with him. And, of course, he's shown brilliantly. His best one was his final season.
Yeah.
That was just brilliant. I grew it. Sometimes it takes a while to grow attached to a new Doctor, but I think eventually you will. And you know what? I hope that she really does well. I hope that I really enjoy it. I'm never rooting for anybody that's taking over the role of the Doctor to do poorly.
Right.
I'm always hoping that they do great and that they surprise me.
I do too. I also think that the way doing this, the way it's set up, family oriented, so it could bring a larger audience in. Because a lot of the times, you've got doctors who will do more of a love story aspect, because that's what happened when we had Rose and 10, because it was more of a love story, and that brought a lot of people in. This time, we're not getting the conversation between male and female kind of aspect, which I'm glad. We're getting more of an aspect with a family kind of esque.
Mm-hmm. But I like the fact that she has 3 companions.
Exactly. It goes back to the original series when in the 1960s it was like 3 people kind of going along and the Doctor. So it's a retelling of the same formula, but starting from scratch with a female Doctor. I really do look forward to this, and I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. So.
Yep.
I think we have Clone Wars.
The biggest surprise from Comic-Con. It took 5 years, but we went from Save the Clone Wars to hashtag Clone Wars saved. Oh yeah, and I used that on Twitter. It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. I love that they held that off until the very end of the panel. Like, they showed a bunch of artwork, they had a Q&A session, they did all this stuff, and then at the end they're like, well, we have something that we brought that we thought you guys might really enjoy that we wanted to show you. And then they show like this, and at the beginning it just feels like a very soft nod, a nice homage to Clone Wars and everything. We're getting all these different little pieces, and then they have to put up a war left unfinished until now, and then everybody lost their shit. Honestly, the only thing that I could say that I can equate this to right now is, and I'm sorry to be bringing up E3 again, even though it wasn't that long ago, but like, I equate this to the trailer for the Resident Evil 2 remake, because we're like trying to figure out what the fuck it is, what the fuck is this, what the fuck is this, and then you see the zombie get shot, and behind it's the profile of Leon, and they show you Leon up close, and it's the young Leon, and you're like, oh shit, RE2, yes, and I can't wait to add that to my collection. And I'll go ahead and spill the beans here, guys. If you don't check me out on my Twitch channel, like Zoinks Gaming, please change that. I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 right now. I'm streaming that, or as I like to call it, Sasuke Simulator 15. But what's gonna be happening around December is I'm gonna start marathoning a lot. I'm gonna start marathoning all of my Resident Evil games until the remake for 2 comes out. I've got 0, 1, 4, 6, and 7 all on PS4 that I can stream. And I'll be playing all of those in character as Shaggy. So it will be a Shaggy marathon. So I hope you're looking forward to that.
Back to Clone Wars.
Yes! Oh my god. And then I I love that they actually used the Force Awakens trailer music.
Yes. Oh my god.
That worked. It worked so well. It worked so well.
Oh, man.
And then we got that Until Now. And then you know, you're thinking, okay, that's it. And no, they give you more. They start showing us like prepping for a battle. You get to see Anakin with his full episode 3 hair. Like that was another thing. He's got his episode 3 hair. So here's the other thing, and we were talking about this before. This leads like what season 7, if they're doing it the way that I think Filoni was talking about before, this is going to lead directly into episode 3.
Yes,
like they're going after Maul. They're going after Maul, and then right when they're about to catch Maul, Obi-Wan and Anakin get pulled away because the Chancellor gets kidnapped by Count Dooku, and the Separatist army is above Coruscant, and they have to go and rescue the Chancellor, and that's when episode 3 begins.
Now, the real question that's going to come about, the 501st aspect.
Oh.
In Rebels,
Rebels is established as canon.
It's going to show that how Rebels began, because I think we're actually going to get a nod to Kanan Jarrus.
Oh man, I need to hear Caleb Dune in this. Like Freddie Prinze Jr., I need to hear your voice.
We will actually get to meet his master for the first time.
I still want to.
We may actually get a nod, because it was nodded last time that they actually had the series up, but we will get the nod to the Death Star actually getting formulated. The plans will start building, because we had that. I'm sorry.
The what? You mean Stardust?
Project Stardust.
No, I love that. I love that we had the nod to that, and I also love the nod to Darksaber. I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers.
Yes. So there will be those little nods, because they started it in Rebels, and they are gonna probably continue it in season 7. Because first we got to talk about how the Commandos, the 50, because you have Rex who left, you had Wolf who left, and then you had the last of the Commandos.
And they straight out said that they pulled their chips out. They removed their chips.
They removed those things manually.
Mm-hmm.
That shit hurts.
Yeah.
Because
they're embedded in the brain.
Every clone has them, whether they're Commandos, Delta. They have it. And when orders go down through 66, every one of them starts killing them. But it would be interesting to see. I don't know if 4066 is going to drop that way, or if they're going to show that aspect.
Well, we know that Ahsoka survives, and I think it's mostly in part to the fact that she's not a Jedi. Like, she left the Order.
True. Yeah.
I think that might have something to do with it, but I think that the clones, that Rex and the others will
others will help protect her.
Will eventually, like, will initially turn on her, and she's like, I'm not a Jedi, like, and she uses that whole thing to convince them, and then eventually, like, they're able to fight it enough to pull their chips out. I want to know how that goes down, but apparently, you know, Maul gets away.
Maul gets away and build up his city, because he's behind it all. So there is that nod to the Solo film. Also, I wonder if they're actually gonna finish up the Venture aspect, because Venture steps away from all of this.
Yeah, and here's the other thing really quickly that I wanted to point out that's been really consistent lately. We get to have Sam Witwer back as Maul.
Yes.
And we didn't exactly lose him all that much, because hold on. Damn it. Thank you. We didn't lose him all that much, because if you watched the Solo film, and I'm sorry, spoiler here, Maul shows up for a cameo. Like, he's got a really important cameo, and it is, in fact, Ray Park playing an older version of Maul. Like, it is Ray Park sitting in that suit, but the voice that you hear is Sam Witwer, who's been doing Maul for the entirety of Clone Wars, and came back and reprised his role in Rebels. And funny enough, Sam Witwer was also playing Palpatine and Sidious he was playing Sidious in Clone Wars. And what's really funny is
the fun thing is
that Ian McDermott came back to do it. Or Ian McDermott, yeah.
Ian McDermott, he came back for the last few episodes of Rebels.
So
he actually played himself.
So he got to come back and be Palps, which was kind of fun.
But I am so glad that Sam got grandfather buyout happened, because there was supposed to be a Force Unleashed 3.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately.
Same thing with level 1313.
1313 and the Star Wars RPG that was supposed to be happening, that was being built.
Those were the plans.
But the Star Wars RPG happened after the buyout, and it still got canceled and still got nixed.
But it's going to be interesting.
And then EA pulled their bullshit, and Disney had to step in and say stop.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see what happens in.
Dear Disney, please, dear Disney, please, just let somebody else work on a Star Wars property that isn't EA. Because I swear to God, they could do a great job. EA's not the only publisher that's out there. There's plenty of really good publishers out there. Shit. EA, oh my God.
Please bring back Visceral.
Excuse me. Hold on. Disney, could you just hand Star Wars gaming rights over to fucking Square Enix? We know it'll take fucking a decade for them to put something out, but at least it'll be worth it.
It would be. I think what we've got next is Young Justice. Finally.
Oh man, season 3 of Young Justice. Okay, to be completely fair, a lot of that trailer was season 2 material. Like, you had to go about 2 minutes in before you finally got season 3 stuff, but it was still damn impressive.
I love the fact that
I haven't finished all of season 2, sadly.
They are nodding to the fact that Kid Flash dies. They aren't bringing him back. He dies, people. And you see Artemis mourning her lover. And technically at this point,
gonna do that. And technically at this point, Wally is now the fastest speedster.
And I think they had Impulse finally show up this time around.
Oh yeah.
Because he's taking on the mantle.
And it looks like Static Shock is going to be joining the ranks as well.
Static Shock is coming back. They were going to have him for season 3, but when that got scuffed over, they finally brought him into season 3, and I'm like, oh, God, they didn't get rid of that. They also are bringing in Markovia for some reason. I don't know why, because it's more of a DC thing. So
Princess Terra that they were alluding to, is that the Terra I'm thinking it is? Like can move the Earth Terra? Like she and BB are gonna get it on. They're gonna have beautiful mutant babies that are green. Yeah.
There is that hint and there is that nod.
Listen, Gar, you cannot make your children be vegan. That's all I'm saying. I respect that you don't eat meat. Please respect that I don't eat fake meat.
So, but the trailer just was jam-packed with a lot. You do get to see the organization that has been kind of steering the ship since season 1. And it's alluded that Darkseid and Savage are kind of the main players of it. Savage being an immortal who basically has gone through all of it, and Darkseid, who probably one of the more powerful beings in the entire
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see those two kind of teaming up. That's a powerful duo though.
Especially considering that Lex is a
part of the light.
He is part of the light, but at the same time, he has Superboy's interest at heart because.
And then there's the fact that we actually saw Batman fighting some people. So I'm wondering how much of the Justice League itself is involved.
Yes, I know they are probably gonna bring Shazam, the team aspect beforehand, so that may get grandfathered in.
My last thing that I want to discuss on this is, unfortunately, it's gonna be on the DC streaming app, and not televised. And I'm like, come on, man, solely on the DC streaming app. Come on, put it up on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay for another streaming service. I already have enough streaming services. Like, I'm technically on 3 at this point. I've got Amazon, I've got Netflix, and I've got Verve. I'm not paying for another fucking streaming access. So I'm sorry to say this, DC, get your shit together and put it on either Amazon or Netflix. Put it on there, or you're gonna find that a lot of people are gonna pirate this. Because we want to see it. You're not going to stop us from seeing it. We're going to see it. But, like, please, I would like to support it the legal way. And so would a whole mess of other people. But we want to see it on streaming services that we already pay for. We don't need to add a third one to the list. We are more than happy to watch and pay for the services that we have with Amazon, because Prime has its perks. 2-day free shipping, just saying. And and the tick that's worth an Amazon Prime subscription alone. Not to mention, added to my watch list, all seasons of Chuck. Did that today.
Yes.
And then of course, if you put it up on Netflix, there's so many people that are gonna watch it. You think Marvel hasn't been killing it on Netflix? DC, you're losing out if you leave Netflix to go make your own thing. That's not the way to do it.
We're trying to make the money off of movies that have already, like, I've looked at the
shit's just
trailer that they dropped, and they used Batman so heavily because Michelle Pfeiffer is, like,
surprised
prominent right now because of Ant-Man. I'm like, no, stop it.
Oh, surprised they killed someone. Wait, well, hold on. Oh, Young Justice? Oh, dude, yes, absolutely, Daryl Green. Add that to your list. It is. Young Justice is on Netflix.
Yes.
Season 1 and 2 is on Netflix. Go watch that shit. Holy fuck. It's so good. Like
Young Justice, the way it was written.
Young Justice is what the first Teen Titans series could have really developed into. Yes. Like, not Teen Titans Go, like the actual Teen Titans. Which, hey, that's also coming back. Yeah.
Speaking of Titans, we need to talk about...
Well, no, I'm not going to talk about the Titans show yet. I'm talking about the Teen Titans original animation and stuff. That's apparently coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't want to add to too many subscriptions. I absolutely understand that, Daryl. And Naxo Gaming, you can join the conversation. You absolutely can. Just post in the comments, man. I'm not adding people to the Discord call right now. I'm sorry, but yeah, you guys can feel free to add your thoughts and opinions in the conversation in the chat, and we will gladly read them and respond to them. No problem whatsoever. But yeah, Titans. Oh Jesus, Titans.
So I watched this trailer and I was like, okay.
I hurt watching this trailers. Like
so many.
I don't have an issue with like a dark-skinned Starfire, because she should be. Like, that's like, so any of the races, or they're not racist, it's the fucking human race. Any melanin tones that people were cast for the characters, I don't give a shit about any of that. My problem is they're fucking with the characters too much. They're too far off from what their originals are. First and foremost, if that's Dick Grayson as Robin saying fuck Batman and stabbing somebody with a knife in the neck, okay, you have gone so far off the reservation with Dick Grayson. You need to check yourself. Now, I get if he's transitioning between Robin and Nightwing for him to kind of say fuck Batman, but no. At that point in time, Robin/Nightwing would not be killing people. You want a Robin that's killing people, you either get Jason Todd or Damian Wayne. Those are the two that would kill.
Actually do it. Yes.
But Dick Grayson and Tim Drake would never do it.
I loved how it kind of opened up, though.
You want to pick on Raven things for a minute?
I love how they had Raven kind of looking into trying to find Dick Grayson. I thought, oh, that's a nice little nod. Oh, hey, she's just, oh, I'm darkness. Oh God. This is way too melancholy. Please stop being the DC. Stop it. Stop.
Her father,
Zack Snyder.
Her father is Trigon. Yes. Her mother may have once been of Earth, but she doesn't live on Earth anymore. So her, like, actually being in contact with her mom on Earth, what the fuck are you guys watching? What are you smoking over there? Her mother is from Azeroth, however you want to pronounce it. But
her mother is in Azeroth. Azeroth is actually light.
Yeah.
It is where.
It's where she fled to. It's where Raven was raised and where her mother fled to. So her mother is not actually on Earth. So that kind of pissed me off right there. You're fucking up the lore too much.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I feel like how I feel about Gotham is how I feel about Titans. And that's very, very sad because, like, I know that there's some really good shit that's happening in Gotham, but I won't watch it. I won't, because they fucked up too many characters. Victor Zsasz was never a fucking hitman. Never.
No, he was a psychopath, for crying out loud.
Yeah. He was a fucking rich boy that lost all his money gambling and almost got killed. The last line is a meme. Even if I didn't see the trailer, and yes, I think it's a Snyder thing. I don't know. Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Seriously, they are trying way too hard to stick to Snyder's line, and I'm sorry.
Don't do that with the TV universe. The TV universe and the DC and the cinematic universe were totally separate from each other, and that worked.
But I think that's why you don't. That's why this is not a part of the Arrow universe, because the Arrow. There is darkness, but there's also comedy, love story, aspects of drama. They don't focus so heavily on darker tones, which I think is one of the things that the streaming service is trying way too hard to focus on.
I'm like, hey, we're the streaming service, and I'm like, well, thank you for that's a show that I'm glad is on that streaming service because I wasn't gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Like that trailer, all that trailer did was make me not want to see it, because all you showed me was two very key characters in Teen Titans that were absolutely the antithesis of those characters' core personalities. So if you can't even get the core aspects of their personalities correct, I don't even want to see it. Like,
right.
You ruined it to the point that I made up my mind already, which is not something I generally do. My modus operandi is to give a series the benefit of the doubt and then watch enough episodes to where I feel like I've made up my mind. You did such a terrible job with that trailer that I made up my mind before seeing a single episode that I will not watch this garbage. See, it's not all going to be me kissing DC's ass. There's plenty of shit I'm pissed at them about. We had the good stuff in the beginning, and now we're tearing them a new asshole. Fuck your streaming service, and fuck your Titans series.
Get your shit together. Get your shit together. Get it all together.
Get it all together. Put it back. Yeah. Okay, next. What's next on the list?
Next is Star Trek Discovery.
Okay, that's one you're gonna cover. I've heard good things about Star Trek Discovery, but I haven't watched it yet. And unfortunately, it's not on Netflix.
So Star Trek Discovery, we ended with, and I was like, oh, I got all giddy. And
I'm sorry, we ended with what? They ended with whom?
Okay, the first season ends with Discovery coming across the USS Enterprise, and they're
Okay,
basically
gotcha.
stuck at a standstill. So we get to find out that in the first few episodes, it's not Kirk's ship.
It's
not
Pike's,
Kirk's
yeah.
ship. It's
Because
Pike's, and we get to see Pike taking over the Discovery.
the Discovery.
I think
And he
that's-
does sound a lot like the Christopher Pike I'm familiar with from the movies. Like, he sounds...
Yes and no. I think the original and from the movies as well, because Christopher Pike is a no nonsense captain. He doesn't shit. He's very by the book, and I love seeing that aspect in the character. I also love the fact that this guy came from the Marvel universe of what was it? The shortly lived series that was like a few episodes long. That was just god awful. Inhumans. It was an awful show. It was badly premised, but the guy who played the main character was awesome. They gave him no speaking line, but I mean, the character's not supposed to have. In this, you finally get to see his full range, and I think from just the trailer alone, it really works to his favor.
I like the alien sneezing.
But the right. Oh, did you catch a cold? And you we also get to find out that this is primarily to deal with Spock. Spock is somehow connected to this. And I don't know if we're going to get a nod to Kirk or not. And Christopher Pike basically handing the ship over to Kirk, kind of as it were, and then Christopher Pike taking over the Discovery for the long haul. Because that would be an interesting nod, because Christopher Pike doesn't automatically become an admiral. Not how this works. You have to go through your full genre. So I'm wondering if that's how they do it, and they are actually going to bring Spock into this, like actually have him show up or not.
And
So
who
it
is
will be
going to be playing Spock if that's the case? Is it gonna be Zachary Quinto, or are they getting somebody new?
right? I don't know if Zachary.
Well, sadly, we
he's
can't get
actually-
Leonard Nimoy.
Well, on that note,
I don't
Leonard
possess the
Nimoy did a
DNA of Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy did a show a long time ago. About Zachary Quinto is bringing that show back. Is starting, I want to say, in the next weeks or so, and he is picking up the mantle of Leonard Nimoy and bringing the show back. So that will be interesting to see. So I don't know if Zachary Quinto will come to Star Trek Discovery or not.
Okie dokie.
Next up is DuckTales, and I'm gonna let you take that one.
Oh my god. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, please do, because the DuckTales season is amazing. I mean, on top of the fact that we've got Danny Pudi playing as the red shirt duck, whom I can't remember.
Dewey or Louie.
I think it's
Huey.
Huey.
I think it is Huey. He usually wears red.
Yeah. And then oh my god. So funny enough, I didn't know. Apparently there's a thing. I don't know if this is true or not, but they're saying Don Cheadle is actually the one that does Donald Duck. And if that's true, somebody made a beautiful meme that said that if somebody made a beautiful meme, or the DuckTales guys have a dark sense of humor, but it says Don Cheadle, it says Don Cheadle, Thanos survivor, voice of Donald Duck. And I'm like, oh, screw you guys. Thanos survivor. That's mean.
That's some Disney mess
Yeah.
with you right there. They're like, oh yeah, we're.
But guys, if you haven't seen it, please do, because David Tennant does an excellent job. And not only that, there's some really good stories and homages to the original and some of the stuff that goes on. Like, yes, we get to finally have Gizmo Duck is back. We get
Yes.
Darkwing Duck. This trailer is just not. This trailer isn't for a season 2. It's just telling you the second half of season 1. And I'm gonna spoil one thing for Jason right now. What sets this series so much apart is at the end of it, you find out, first and foremost, that Scrooge McDuck, when he was doing his big adventures that he was so well known for, Donald was running with him that entire time.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the little female girl duck is played by Kate Micucci.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I love her.
And then and then you find out at the end, as he lifts up a corner of like the painting that Donald and Scrooge were on, he lifts up, there's a female duck on there, and I think it's Dewey that lifts it and sees it and says, "Mom?" And so the mom is a very big main focus in this arc coming up, and it's really cool. And not to mention, they're also bringing several villains back. Like, we've already had the Beagle Boys and Ma Beagle come back. We've had so many, and like they've been really good about lovingly recreating and bringing these characters forward. And if you've seen any of the DuckTales series so far, it's been really, really good, and I can't wait for the rest of season 1. And yes, Darkwing Duck technically exists in universe, but in an interesting way. And the beautiful thing about this is that they've teased Cape Suzette, and they've teased the pirate captain from Tailspin as well. So if they're teasing Cape Suzette, that means Baloo and Kit and so many of the other Tailspin characters might actually be in here, because they teased the pirate whose name I just forgotten. But the air pirates, Don Corleone or something like that. But
something like that.
But they teased the air pirates from Tailspin.
Which means,
so Tailspin technically is shared universe.
Yes.
What was really cool was in the first episode, which again, guys, if you want to see the first episode, Disney is awesome about that. The very first episode is an hour long, and Disney released it on YouTube for free. So it's up there. Yeah.
Which, note to self, I have to see after this.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, definitely well worth it. And they mentioned Cape Suzette. They mentioned oh god, the one with Darkwing Duck's hometown. I don't remember what it's called at the moment. I keep wanting to say Drake Mallard, no, that's Darkwing Duck's altered ego. Like, when he's not Darkwing Duck, he's Drake Mallard. But it's unimportant. But they mention those things, so all those places exist in that shared universe, and I'm like, that's really cool. So they're making kind of a DuckTales universe. Kind of like how we have the Arrowverse, we now have the DuckTales verse. The Duckverse, as it were. And so we've got a bunch of really cool stuff. Not to mention, one of my favorite little tidbits from the trailer was the 3 lines. They were like, oh, special, blah, 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 race cars, lasers, aeroplanes? And I'm like, you guys, you sneaky, cheeky little punks. Race cars, No, it's because of the theme song. Race cars, lasers, airplanes. It's a duck blur. Oh my goodness. So that was just beautiful. I can't wait for this. So many plot lines that I don't want to spoil for people that haven't seen season 1 that are carrying over into the second half of season 1 that I'm like, so good. I can't wait. If you haven't seen DuckTales, please go watch that. Please go fix that. I will find a way to freaking share. Disney comes down on people pretty hard for trying to. Okay, you know what? I'll react to DuckTales, but it'll be a patron-only thing. Right. And you'll get my full reactions because they're on Patreon. And guys, please help me with that, because I'm already halfway through the amount of space that I have on Google Drive. So I'm going to need to upgrade it very soon from the 100 gigs I have to something much higher. All right. That's my one plea. Patreon.com/fairytale podcast, guys. I'd appreciate it. Get all the stuff early.
So I think what we've got next is the comeback of Invader.
Invader Zim, is that the last one?
Then the Dragon Ball.
Okay, so Invader Zim, then Dragon Ball. Okay, I saw the trailer for Invader Zim. I don't know much about it. No one spoke during that trailer, which I thought was interesting but also odd. And then it was mainly just musical. There were some cool things. Anytime Gur shows up, I loved it. Anytime Gur showed up.
Yes.
But
so Invader Zim, what it looks like is important in time because they look older.
Mm-hmm. Not much, but just a little bit older.
Not much, just a smidge. We get to see the tallest. We get to see Zim kind of reporting in like he's been normally doing, how he's slowly but surely taking over. We get to see Zim's nemesis, basically like.
And his sister! And his sister rocking out on the guitar!
And his sister.
Yeah.
So, the movie looks to be as though these two factions are finally going to head-to-head them as an entire family, and what seems to be a part of the family that we have not seen or not met yet. Either that or it's time travel related. We don't know. But it will be interesting to see how they do that. This is probably going to be one of those kind of nods. I'm really glad that Nickelodeon, because we have been teased that Invader Zim was going to come back as a series, and I'm just glad that the movie has finally come back. Gur is in his most excellent form with combining two of the greatest of all time, both pizza and waffles together. I was like, oh my god, he's not going to do what I think he's going to do.
You gotta make biscuits! God damn it. Oh man, I miss Gur so much. I forgot how much I miss Gur. Okay, on to Dragon Ball. We've got Broly stuff to talk about. I know there's a lot of people that are very hyped about this. I'm not one of them.
I'm glad this is happening. For one, I honestly think that the story for Broly has been shit since the first time it came around. Because I'm sorry.
Because it doesn't. I mean, you've got a really good. I mean, the thing with Broly is it's like the shittiest storyline with the best villain.
Right. And I think it's better that
the storyline was horribly wasted on that villain.
Horrible. Just god awful.
So yeah, I mean, I hope that this one is a major improvement. I am curious to see how Broly would go up against the Super Saiyan Blue and all that jazz. But at the same time, guys, I'm really burnt out on Dragon Ball Super. Like, I am absolutely burnt out on Dragon Ball in general. At this point, I'm just done. And then they threw out Broly, and I'm like, that doesn't take away the Dragon Ball fatigue, if you will, that I have.
That just adds more to it. Now, granted, I'm glad that
makes it worse.
They're rewinding and bringing back an old property and giving it the touch beforehand.
And are actually making it canon?
Yes. Because the one time that they tried to bring Broly in, and then they brought him back for.
And I don't even know what Dragon Ball Heroes is. So somebody's gonna have to explain that one to me. Okay, I just know that there's a golden cooler.
Okay, so Dragon Ball Heroes is basically a video game. They've been.
Oh, so it's a game.
Yes. So the way it basically starts is there are 2 episodes out. First one is you come upon Vegeta and Goku as they're training on with Whis, and Akai shows up basically that Trunks is in trouble, future Trunks. So Vegeta being who he is, they go and want to rescue him. But then they find out they're stuck on a prison world when we can't escape. Come to find out, there's a Goku from a different timeline or a different universe who has come there to track this Kai down.
Huh.
So both of the Gokus fight off. One of them goes straight to Super Saiyan 4, so it brings that back. The other, who goes Super Saiyan Blue, fights off against him, and they are basically even matched to where they wave. And the Super Saiyan 4 has done this deliberately to try and break up the barrier to free them from the prison planet, which it doesn't seem to work.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. It's just a gaggle of clustered nonsense at this point.
For the most part, it is. And then
it does not help my Dragon Ball fatigue at all. It just makes it worse. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care. I am burnt out. I am so burnt out on Dragon Ball at this point. I'm like, just let it die. One Piece is so much better. Like, oh my God, even just the last chapter. I can't wait for you guys to check out the manga dub tomorrow. That's going to be dropping for chapter 908, I believe it is. I don't even know. It's probably past that. I think it might be 912. I don't even know anymore. It's in the 900s. That's the thing I know. We're getting close to that 20-year anniversary with Oda, but that man can write a story, and he puts Toriyama to shame. But yeah, I'm burnt out on Dragon Ball. That was more or less the gist of what happened in Comic-Con as far as like trailer stuff and things like that. There are little things that did happen there that I'd want to cover briefly. Obviously, there were several interviews with Nathan Fillion and the director for the the Uncharted fan film that they did, which was just badass. Nathan Fillion is perfect casting for Nathan Drake. I also love that we got Stephen Lang in as Sully. I thought that was brilliant casting as well. And it was really good. If you guys haven't seen it, please, I encourage you to go check it out. Especially because how they changed the aspect ratio as soon as Drake starts entering into combat. It feels very much like they lift the cinematics away, and then the whole view is over the shoulder, and when he aims at bad guys, the camera zooms in, so it feels exactly like you're playing the game. It's so good, the mechanics that they use there. But there were several interviews with that I think people should check out. Quick note, going back to the very beginning thing, when they had the panel for Fantastic Beasts, as soon as Johnny Depp walked out, he got booed. So there's that. Yeah. I don't want to go into it too much. I'm just letting you know that we're aware of it. And then I think the last one I completely forgot about because I got too obsessed with talking about the first thing that I was talking about. Yay for being ADHD. Let's see, Johnny Depp got booed, blah blah blah. Uncharted, and then the Venom panel went really well, and and that I'm actually looking very forward to Venom because it's apparently symbiote versus symbiote or symbiote. I call it symbiote. They can call it symbiote, but it's fucking symbiote. Damn it.
The symbiote is basically gonna go against its family as sorts.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any note.
And they talked about the fact that the Venom voice that you're hearing, that voice that you hear that's talking to Eddie, in Eddie's head, that is also Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah. And that I thought was really cool. And then they brought up, would you be down to fight Tom Holland? And he's like, yeah, I'd be down to do a movie with Tom. I was like, yeah, get Tom versus Tom. Let's do this. Venom and Spidey, finally.
Finally, we get a Tom movie.
And the thing that they've been talking about with Far From Home is that if Spider-Man 2 Far From Home does really good, the next film would be a Sinister Six film. Yeah. Because Far From Home is supposed to introduce Mysterio. Mm-hmm. And so that would be... We've already got Scorpion. We've already got Vulture. We'd have Mysterio, and then I don't know if they're gonna do Doc Ock. I don't think they are. They're trying to stay away from villains that have shown up in previous Spider-Man incarnations. But yeah, the Sinister Six would be pretty freaking cool. And there was a big story trailer reveal for the Spider-Man video game that's coming in just a couple of weeks at the beginning of September, and I need to get in touch.
They're also, I don't know if they've shown any more for Spider-Man universe. I know they dropped Spider-Gwen in, but for the Spider-Universe movie that they're doing from Sony, they've only showed 3 or 4 out of the Spider-Men that are actually going to show. But there are going to be a lot more that actually show up in this universe.
Okay. Akira Toriyama's going in with this, including the Saiyan Past. Heroes is separate from Super, promoting the card game and I think arcade game. Okay, guess my mention about. The Saiyan history will be expanded, even Akira's DB minus manga. Oh no. Again, I'm just DB'd out, man. I'm done with Dragon Ball everything. Just done.
I'll be honest. As much as my brother and I are big on the DBZ, because it kind of got us to our
DB and DBZ,
shit.
and I was okay with like a large portion of Super, but I mean, I just kind of fell off.
It just got to the point where it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same story, only like you're testing the waters with like different characters and power. At the same time, like
same shit, different channel.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Do you really have to? I hate to quote Morty, but get your shit together. Get it all together.
Get your shit together. Ah.
Like, put it in a bag. Put your shit together.
All right, guys.
I mean, I think that about wraps us up.
Any other Comic-Con stuff that you can think of that you want to cover before we head off? Tom Holland in my head sounds great. Oh, great. Simbi Cat, if you can.
I don't
Symbiote,
know. I
if you
Max
will.
in my head.
Mad Max in your head.
Right. It'd be perfect. Oh, it works.
All right. But yeah, that's. Pardon me. That is basically it. Yeah. My body's like, no, you've stayed up way too late, and I'm like, no, I haven't. I've still got like 2 or 3 more hours. I'm having to change my sleep schedule because I have to go work on a farm tomorrow. Indeed. See, the problem is yesterday I went to bed at 5 in the afternoon for some reason, and then I woke up at 2 in the morning.
I can't say much. I went to bed at like 3 a.m. and woke up at 6, and then went back to sleep, and then woke up at noon.
There you go.
All right.
Alrighty. So, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out, and I appreciate all of your comments. And guys, look forward to episode. Yeah, there you go. There's a preview. Look forward to episode 1 of season 2 of Haikyuu coming out at about 10 in the morning tomorrow. And I don't know if I'm gonna be recording Voltron tonight. If I am unable to because of like all of this, then I think that's going to be, and it's almost 9 o'clock. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to really record any Voltron stuff. So I'll probably record it tomorrow after I get back. Or if I'm unable to get to it, if I'm unable to get to it tomorrow, I will be recording it on Tuesday. So I will have 2 episodes come out on Tuesday. And then, you know, the next 3 episodes, because I'm trying to do it just like how I do with Haikyuu, 5 a week. Putting it out on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Thursday, 1 on Friday. And also Wednesday, you know, because I skipped that one for some weird reason. But patrons get them as soon as I'm done with them, and they get them completely unedited. And I'm not joking. I mean absolutely unedited, because FLV files are smaller than MP4 files. So
Oh, God, yes.
I have to conserve space on my Google Drive. So I'm just uploading the FLV files without editing them at all, because I'd have to convert them over in order to edit them, because none of my editing programs like FLV files or MKV files. But yeah, whatevs. Those jerks, those jerky programs, jerkity jerk programs, man. Laura Bailey is going to be Mary Jane in the game. Yeah, I did hear that. I heard her voice, and I was kind of impressed. But that's it for us, guys. That is it for us, guys. Thank you so much. If you want to help us out on the podcast, really easy. Just become a patron. There is a lot of content that I put up there, and you can get all of it for just $1 a month, which is a very small price tag for the amount of shit that I put up on the Patreon. But if you want to donate more, you're more than welcome to do that. We're not going to stop you. But yeah, Patreon.